Hey guys, it's Daniel. Welcome back.
John Bonham is widely considered one of the best rock drummers ever, arguably the greatest rock drummer of all time. Like so many other iconic rock stars, however, John Bonham's life was unfortunately cut short. John Bonham died at the age of 32 on September 25, 1980. On September 24th, Led Zeppelin assistant Rex King picked up John Bonham and brought him over to a studio where the band was rehearsing. The rehearsals were for their upcoming North American tour. Throughout that day, John Bonham drank heavily. After rehearsal that day, the band went over to Jimmy Page's house in Windsor, about 45 minutes west of London. On September 25th, after midnight, John Bonham fell asleep at Jimmy Page's house and never woke up again. He was pronounced dead later that day. The inquest into John Bonham's death revealed that within a period of 24 hours, John Bonham had consumed approximately 1 to 1.4 liters of 40% alcohol by volume vodka, which is roughly 40 shots. John Bonham subsequently vomited and choked in his sleep. In a statement released by the band on December 4, 1980, Led Zeppelin announced that they would not be replacing John Bonham and had chosen instead to end the band out of respect for their friend. Quote, "We wish it to be known that the loss of our dear friend and the deep respect we have for his family, together with the sense of undivided harmony felt by ourselves and our manager, have led us to decide that we could not continue as we were." End quote. The unexpected death of John Bonham ended the Zeppelin story prematurely. What may have happened with the band should Bonham have lived, we will never fully know. With that said, during my interview with Led Zeppelin recording engineer Stuart Epps, I asked him what he thought would have happened if John Bonham hadn't died. This is what he had to say. If you want to see my full Led Zeppelin interview with Stuart Epps, the link is available below.
So, this is a hypothetical question, but from what you may know, if Bonham hadn't died, do you know if Zeppelin would have continued on for much longer, or would they have come to an end inevitably anyways at some point in the near future?
Well, that's a good question. I would say yes. Personally, I would say they'd have just gone on, because had Bonham not died, there would have been another album, and then they would have wanted to tour that, I'm sure. As it turns out, he did die, so it's hypothetical. And the fact is that they then had to find their own way in the music business, not that they had to. They're all billionaires, but obviously they would want to. And so Robert found his own, had to find a different career away from Zeppelin. And I'm sure he's very happy that that's what happened, because I think he was getting fed up with screaming his socks off. I'll say that in case there's any children listening. So, I think he was getting a bit fed up with that anyway. And because, it was a heavy rock band, it was blasting, and it was good when they were youngsters, but it might be something that you grow out of, Of course, they could have changed, I suppose, they could have changed the format a little bit. But, your question really was, would they have continued? And I think they would have continued. They would definitely have done another album, and maybe they'd have done another 2 albums, because they love to do that. They love to get together and they like to play together. And then, that's also why they would have probably carried on doing gigs. And also there's phenomenal money involved. Hundreds of millions, let's face it. That's why the Stones do it, no matter how rich they are. And also they have fun and they enjoy it, hopefully,
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. So, we were talking a little bit earlier that if Zeppelin hadn't, obviously if Bonham hadn't passed, that there would likely have been another record and you would have been involved with that to some degree or another. Do you know if there were any demos that the band had prepared, or if there was any unreleased material the band was writing with, or was there nothing ready for a new album yet from what you may know?
There's no more unreleased material to be heard. Mm-hmm. He would have found it, because Jimmy doesn't mess around. He's very much still dedicated to the history of Zeppelin. And if there was something else around, he would have put it out.
Mm-hmm.